There is a long history of people with leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, being excluded from society based on fear and misunderstanding. Such discriminatory attitudes persist to this today. In 2003, WHO Goodwill Ambassador for Leprosy Elimination, Yohei Sasakawa, approached the UN Commission on Human Rights, replaced in 2006 by the Human Rights Council, saying that the discrimination experienced by people affected by leprosy was a serious violation of their human rights. Sasakawa says, people who should be part of society remain isolated in colonies facing hardships. The more you look into it, the more you see the restrictions they live under, including legal restrictions in some cases. Isn't it strange that someone cured of a disease can't take their place in society?
これはやっぱりこの人権問題としての解決をきちっと図らないと、本当の意味のハンセン病を制圧したということにならないということに遅まきながら気がついてね、2003年から国連人権理事会で活動するようになったわけです。
In 2007, the Japanese government appointed Sasakawa as its goodwill ambassador for the human rights of persons affected by leprosy. Collaboration with the Japanese government led in December 2010 to a UN General Assembly resolution on elimination of discrimination against persons affected by leprosy and their family members to call on states to full consideration of principles and guidelines. The resolution was adopted unanimously by 192 countries. Following the resolution, the Nippon Foundation organized a series of symposiums on leprosy and human rights in Brazil, India, Ethiopia, Morocco, and Switzerland between 2012 and 2015 to promote the principles and guidelines. Ongoing cooperation with the Japanese government led to the appointment of a UN Special Rapporteur on leprosy by the Human Rights Council in 2017. In 2020, her term was extended for a further 3 years. Although 11 years have passed since the UN General Assembly resolution, there are still discriminatory laws, and discrimination persists in daily life.
ハンセン病の患者、回復者、その家族に対しての差別は絶対いけないと。そのためにプリンシプルとガイドラインというのが決められましたが、これは強制力は別にあるわけでもありませんし、今言った障害者の権利条約だとか、子どもの権利条約ですとか、タバコの枠組み条約ですとか、条約として、国の機関が批准していてもなかなか実行されてないんで、そういう中でこのハンセン病のこの決議とプリンシプルとガイドラインっていうのはこういうものがあるんですよということを私たち関係者、そして回復者が行政や政府に働きかけて、そして欠点を直してもらうツールとして道具として使うことに大変意味があるわけなんです。
The principles assert that persons affected by leprosy and their family members are entitled to all the human rights and fundamental freedoms proclaimed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other relevant international human rights instruments, such as the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The guidelines describe how states should promote, protect, and ensure the full realization of these human rights and fundamental freedoms without discrimination on the grounds of leprosy. 1. Promote, protect, and ensure the full realization of all human rights and fundamental freedoms for all persons affected by leprosy and their family members. 2. Recognize that all persons are equal before the law and entitled to equal protection of the law. 3. Pay special attention to the promotion and protection of the human rights of women, children, and members of other vulnerable groups. 4. Support the reunification of families separated in the past as a result of policies and practices relating to persons diagnosed with leprosy. 5. Promote enjoyment of rights, including choice of place of residence, allowing full inclusion and participation in the community. 6. Ensure rights related to participation in political life. 7. Encourage and support employment. 8. Promote equal access to education. 9. Remove discriminatory language from governmental publications. 10. Promote equal access to public places, public transport, cultural and recreational facilities, and places of worship. 11. Provide free or affordable health care that includes early detection, prompt treatment, counseling, and access to free medication. 12. Recognize the right of an adequate standard of living and provide assistance to persons living in poverty. 13. Raise awareness and foster respect for human rights and dignity. 14. Create a committee of stakeholders to develop, implement, and follow up on activities relating to human rights. Many organizations of persons affected by leprosy have been formed around the world to fight their dignity and rights. Sasakawa Health Foundation and the Nippon Foundation have been supporting such organizations since the middle of the 1990s. Recognizing that persons affected by leprosy have a key role to play in resolving issues related to the disease, the Goodwill Ambassador encourages them to attend meetings with government officials, take part in international conferences, and make their voices heard. In 2011, the WHO issued guidelines on strengthening the participation of persons affected by leprosy in leprosy services, in such areas as case finding, counseling, and awareness raising, as a way to improve the quality of leprosy services.
今、世界各地で回復者の皆さんが立ち上がって我々がハンセン病を治すこともそうだし、経験者としてこういう差別撤廃のためには自分たちが声を出さなきゃダメだということに気づき始めて活動が活発化してきたということで、この問題の解決が大きく前進することが可能になってきたと私は思ってますので、これからは病気を治すことじゃなくて、治った回復者の皆さんに大いに社会で声を上げて活動をしていただきたいと思っています。ハンセン病の回復者も含めて世界には12億人の障害者がいらっしゃいます。で、この障害者の皆さん方がやはり結婚もできる、学校も行ける、そして働くこともできるという、そういう障害を含めた人のインクルージョンのそういう社会に変わっていかなければいけない。彼らには働く情熱も意欲もありながら、ないのはチャンスだけですから、そういうダイバーシティの時代がアフターコロナの時代にしなきゃいけないし、そのためにはインクルージョンな社会にしていく必要がある。彼らには大きな能力や可能性も秘めているわけですから、こういう人たちが社会参画をしていただくことが素晴らしい未来の世界を作ると思うので、ハンセン病の回復者の皆さん方はもっと自信を持って社会に対して活発に発言をしていただくことが重要だし、そのための組織づくりに笹川保健財団も日本財団もこれから力を合わせて、彼らが生き生きとして、政府にも行政にもあらゆるところで胸を張って、意見表明ができる、あるいは活動できる場を作って社会の一員として、評価を受ける、そういう社会を作りたいと思って皆さんとこれからアフターコロナさらに努力をしていく必要があると考えています。